What's up, y'all? This is my testimony of how I moved to Dallas, Texas. I felt like God wanted me to come here, and I definitely did. So I'm coming from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 35 minutes away from Miami. Most of y'all know Miami, so I'm telling y'all where I'm from. But however, people from Fort Lauderdale or Broward County, we do not like people saying we're from Miami because we're not. Fort Lauderdale is not Miami, okay? Fort Lauderdale is not Miami. Period. And another thing is, if you don't know what Fort Lauderdale is, I'm from the same place Kodak Black from. So I'm from Broward County. He's not from Fort Lauderdale. He's from Pompano. But I'm from Broward County, the same exact county he's from. That's for my secular people out there who may not have a reference point, but I'm going to just give it to you like that. So I'm a Florida boy for real. Now, on that note, let me get into my testimony. Just a little disclaimer. This is going to be a long video. I just filmed another video and I literally deleted it because I said, you know what, I'm just going to give y'all my all. I'm going to go in details. If you don't like that, so be it. This is a great testimony. I got to share it. It is what it is, okay? So this is going to be a long video. On that note, let's get into it. 2021 was a very rough year for me. In the beginning, I felt like in the beginning of the year, I kept, hearing Dallas. I met someone, Flip, in Dallas, and we started talking about the Holy Spirit and speaking in tongues and things of that such. So once we started talking about that and things like that, I'm like, I need to go to Dallas. I need to visit. I just felt called to come visit. I felt like the Lord wanted me to come to Dallas. I came to Dallas, and I felt like I stayed in my hotel. You guys can go watch my Dallas vlog, literally. It's up there still. But I stayed in the hotel, and one of my friends, Chris, who was a part of our Bible study group, which we started in 2020, he was in Waxahachie, which is 45 minutes south of here. So what happened was we was hanging out or whatever. When I went back home, Dallas never left me. Usually when you visit a place, you go, you have fun, you go back home, you good. But I was like, nah, this ain't leaving me. I felt like the mission, the assignment was incomplete. Like, it's not accomplished. And I live in one of the most beautiful towns, cities in America, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Weather is like dandy all year long. Beautiful weather, beach 10, 15 minutes away from my house. Where I'm from in Florida, South Florida specifically, you can live in the hood and be 15 minutes away from the beach. That's because you're 15 minutes away from the beach don't mean you are rich. You can literally be broke on Section 8 and live 15 minutes away from the beach. So I lived in Fort Lauderdale. My worldly dream was I'm finna get rich, buy a mansion somewhere on the beach, live somewhere out west. Like, I thought that I was going to live in Fort Lauderdale forever. Nobody wants to leave Florida. If you live in, let me rephrase that. If you live in Fort Lauderdale and you in the hood and you actually hood rich, hood famous, then people don't want to leave because you a celebrity in your own city. They making money, they this, they that, they this. I didn't want to do nothing illegal, but I definitely had that, like that attitude of I'm finna be successful here. So Dallas never left me. And when Dallas never left me, I said, oh my gosh, I think the Lord has called me to come there, to move there. And I kept seeing signs, tag place, and I'm like, okay, maybe that's the enemy. Maybe it's just a deep desire in my heart to actually leave my house and expand more. But I was like, is this my own selfish desire or is this God? But I was like, nah, because I never dreamed about actually leaving Fort Lauderdale. So shortly after, for y'all who don't know, I have a Bible study group, or we have a Bible study group called Youth for God. And in 2020, we started with JT, Jatanai. Y'all could go check out his music on YouTube. We started a group, and we had somebody who was coming to our group. All this is essential to the story, so stay focused. We had somebody coming to our group by the name of John, and he would literally pop in our group, and then he would go to another Bible study. So I'm like, bro, like he was, going to different Bible studies, So he was like, bro, I'm going to just send you the link. He sent me the link. So I told my Bible study group, I was like, y'all, we finna go bombard their Bible study group. And we did that. And we all met. And these was all people who started coming to Christ the same time that other people was coming to Christ or getting to know Jesus the same time we all was letting go of our worldly ways. So these people from New York, people in our group from Canada, people from Massachusetts, everywhere. So on there, Sonia, which you guys probably seen her testimony. If you watching her testimony and you watch mine, you might as well move to Dallas. I'm telling you. So yeah, stop wasting time. Move to Dallas because she posted that video like a year or two ago. So she was like, hey, I just moved to Dallas. I felt like God wanted me to move here. I was like, no way. I just came from Dallas. And I was like, wow. Like, that was just one of the confirmations that I got. And I was like, you know what? I need to take that faith move. I'm watching people moving testimonies on YouTube. And they like, you got to move by faith, move by faith. So I'm like, you know what? I ain't even have a lot of money to be moving nowhere. But I'm like, I'm going to take that faith move. I'm trying to move. And I'm like, nothing working out, God. I don't know how I'm going to do it. But I really had the faith to move out here with no money, no apartment, none of that. I'm like, maybe I should just go there and see what God going to do. Like, just go there and like get out the airport and see what God's going to bless me with. And nothing was working out. God knew why nothing was working out, because my mom was going to get sick with COVID, end up in the hospital, and literally be on the verge or this close to literally not being here. And I had to be there to take care of my house, because my little brother, who was 15 at the time, he had to go to basketball practice, and my two little cousins who lived with us at the time, they had to eat, they had to do this, they had to do that. And I was the only adult in the house at the time. My big sister was not living with us, so I'm the responsible child, if you guys want to know that. So I'm literally, God knew why it wasn't working out. I had told my mom, she was sad about it. She's like, okay. I told a lot of people that, hey, I feel like I want to move, I'm going to do it. They're like, okay. Some people support it. Some people was like, oh, you don't know what you're doing. You ain't making no sense. I don't think you should go. Nothing behind it. No specific reason, but just being Peter. And you know how Jesus said, get behind me, Satan. Because Peter wanted to stop Jesus from going to that cross. But Peter didn't understand God's will for Jesus. So that's how I felt like it was. Like, you telling me like, oh, don't do that. That's stupid. I'm being dumb. And probably not that harsh, but the tone was definitely there. And I'm like, you don't understand. Like, you know, it's just so much to it. But my mom was like, she was sad about it, but she was like, okay, cool. So God knew she was going to get sick in the hospital. God knew that my nana was going to pass away that same year. God knew that our landlord was going to sell the building that we was living in, and we was going to have to find a house. God knew that we weren't going to be able to find a house immediately. We were going to be in the hotel and the Airbnb, and then going to my grandma's house till we found a house. God knew all of that. I didn't know none of that. And that's why I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to, I'm trying to figure out why nothing working out. But shortly after 2021 played out, I figured out why nothing worked out. So I kept the seed in my heart. I said, you know what? If it's God, I'ma just leave it there. And if the increase comes, I'ma just move. But I just said, you know what? I'm not gonna do too much, because sometimes when you get a word or you get a vision, you know, you have to plant it inside of your heart and see, like, test it some more, test it some more, test it. So that's what I did. I just sat there. I was like, let me just, see. And nevertheless, while we was in the hotel on our transition of trying to find a home to live in, we were in our transition. I'm in the hotel, feeling like soaking in of everything that was going on. And I see this video, guys.
These people aren't full with crazy faith. You have to fight all of them to get to the thing that God has called you to do. Well, God told me that we're supposed to move to Dallas. What's in Dallas? Who gonna provide for you there? Who's gonna help you? All right, fighters, let me go ahead and go to my friends. Hey guys, I feel like God's calling me to go to Dallas. So what that mean for our group? What that mean for our every Friday? Every Friday, we have okay, let me go to my family. Hey family, I believe that God's calling us. Our family has always lived here. And you would leave us for the things that, and this is many of our lives. Fighting the people who should be giving us faith.
My friend sent it to me, or I forgot which friend. It was either Tamaya or JT. I think it was Tamaya sent it to me. And she said, look, Tyrone, this is for you. I said, okay. I watched it. Michael Todd was literally talking about, you told people you're moving to Dallas, Texas, and they told you, oh, you da da da. And I said, oh my gosh, that's exactly what they said to me. And I said, this is nothing but confirmation. So I ended up getting a job at UPS. I prayed to God. I said, God, I had a business. I was doing my entrepreneurship, and my business was very successful in high school. It slowed down because I stopped put in that effort because I felt like I was doing too much. And I said, okay, God, if I go work for somebody, because I never wanted to work for somebody, I said, if I go work for somebody, I want you to put me in a management position, and I don't like waking up early in the morning. So can you put me in the hours that I actually be up, which is like I'll be up in the middle of the night. So I ended up getting a UPS job as a supervisor at 18 years old. I'm lying. At 19 years old, turning 20 later on that year. And this was the highest paying job that I ever got. And don't get me wrong, I had troubles at that job that I will explain in a later video as well. But I was just like, wow, God really answered all my prayers. My shift was like from 2 o'clock to 9 o'clock, or from 3 o'clock to 7, 8. It depends on how the belt running, how many packages we got. And that happened. So I was like, wow. So every single check I was getting every week, because we got paid weekly, I would put up $200 every single week. Every single week I'm putting up $200. Everybody think, okay, he said he was moving to Texas. He ain't move, I guess. No, in my heart, I'm like, I'm just keep stacking my bread. I'm stacking bread every week, stacking bread every week, saving up my check. Even some days I'm feeling lazy. I don't want to get up today because, once you actually start working overnight shifts, you don't want to work them no more. So, I had my troubles at that job, and that December came. And when that December came, I'm like, I fasted about what I wanted to do, and I prayed about it, and I got some clarity on it. Even though I'm gonna share my stories of me doubting, I got some clarity on it, and I told my bosses and everything. I said I'm gonna move, and literally when I told them I was gonna move, I was asking for favor, because when you in certain positions at jobs, they don't want to transfer you. So I was like, can y'all transfer me to the one in Texas? And I would work at the one in Texas. My boss, who's like the biggest boss, he was like, cool. I had the okay and everything. So it was peak season coming up around the holidays. That's when it gets so busy. And they wanted us to work 6 days a week. And it was just a lot on me mentally and everything. You got to remember, I'm going through a transition of my mom finishing sick with COVID. My grandma died, and I'm still working at a job overnight in a position of authority. And that's a lot of stress in itself. You got to be able to manage that. Not only that, I'm going through me trying to find a home, because we bouncing from hotel to Airbnb. My dog got to get put down because she can't stay in certain places, which I had her for 8-9 years. And all of that, just like 2021 was really a tough year. My friend dynamics changing. I'm at my grandma's house sleeping on a blow up bed, and not a comfortable one, but like I'm like the one that be on the floor. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a lot. I never really went through this. I'm not gonna say my life was like straight peaches and cream, but even though my situation wasn't that bad, it's like God is still good in the midst of it. And I'm still getting to this job, trying to get here early, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, because the managers got to get there an hour earlier. So December came, they wanted us to come in 6 days a week. I'm like, I ain't gonna lie, I'm not doing that. Like, I ain't want to do that. And though I got the okay from my manager, and mind you, we had incentives going on, guys, which was like $200 per person you bring on. So I'm helping other people. I'm like, get a job. It's holiday season. Stack your bread. I'm sharing the link to everybody, saying, apply. And December 23rd came, and I just resigned. I'm gonna be so honest. That's why I be careful what I say. I was like, I ain't going into work tomorrow. I'm gonna quit. And oh my gosh, I had a dream they was finna fire me. And I woke up that morning, I was late. They called my phone, and I quit. I'm not a perfect person, guys. I make mistakes. But that story goes even deeper. But I resigned. So I resigned, but they didn't put my resignation in for that day. They never put my resignation in. I typed it in on why I resigned, how I resigned. They never put in my resignation, which was so weird to me. So mark that, guys. My UPS resignation was never officially signed that I resigned on December 23rd, 2 days before Christmas. They never put that in. So I'm like, okay, cool. Weeks go by, or days go by, and I'm like, God, I messed up tremendously personally, like with myself inwardly. And I'm like, oh my gosh, God, do you still want me to move? Are you still gonna be with me? Like, God, is you still gonna go with me? Like, I'm doubting back and forth in my head. And the verse that came to me, like, I heard this so clear. be still and know that I am God. So I Googled it and I was like, okay, cool. So most people would have thought that meant be still, don't move nowhere, know that he is God. I was like, no, I knew instantly that be still and know that I am God meant be still, son. Stop rambling back and forth on your head on if you should go, if you shouldn't go. Know that I am God. Like, know that God is God. It's not even based on what everything that you do alone. God is God. Be still. Stop wrestling in your thoughts. Stop being tormented with your back and forthness in your thoughts. Be still and know that God is God. So I said, okay, cool. On the Sunday before, okay, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to go. I built up the courage and I told my mom again. And she was like, oh, you really finna go? I'm like, yeah. And in my season of doubting, she came in my room one day and was like, she asked me a question about it. I said, I'm not finna go. She was like, oh, okay. I was mad at her because I'm like, you supposed to be like, no, you felt like God wants you to go. She's supposed to encourage me more to go. But she was like, oh, okay. But you got to remember, once again, my mom, she was sad because, you know, I'm the responsible child. I carry responsibilities. I carry responsibilities. So she's like, honestly, like, I really don't want you to go anyway. So she did not encourage me that day. I had to literally get encouraged by the Holy Spirit. Something in me was just like, what? She was like, okay, you're not going, cool. And mind you, like, I had already felt like I should have went and everything. So I changed my mind. I was like, nah, I'm gonna go, because in my mind, I'm like, if I don't go, it's gonna always sit in the back of my head. What would have happened if I would have went to Texas and trusted God? And then I was like, if I do go, God is still going to be with me. Even if I made a mistake, he's not just going to be like, oh, you made a mistake. Bye. Vanish. Gone. No, like, he knows that I'm his child. And he would direct me back on that path. And I heard that at literally a concert months later with Maverick City. So my last Sunday before I left, oh, matter of fact, let's stay on my mom real quick. So my mom, she became very supportive. And she was like, before she was supportive, she was just sad. She wasn't saying nothing. I had to tell her. I was like, Mom, I know you sad. Or, Mommy, I know you sad about this or something like that. But I feel like I don't got no support. You know, like, encourage me, say, hey, what you gonna get? How you gonna decorate this? Do you need help shipping things this? What you gonna do with this? Do you got your ticket? How everything look? Let me help you find an apartment. And she's like, okay, you right. So she's like, you can use this renter's insurance. It's a renter's insurance I need. So she started being supportive because I explained to her. And she sucked up her feelings and God gave her a peace about it. And that was so amazing. So I had got the blessing from my mom. Nevertheless, if God told me to go and she didn't, I probably would have still went. But it's a peace knowing that she was okay with it. So, that Sunday before I was finna leave, I literally was in a car with my bro, and he used the GPS to get around the city. He been living in America for too long to be doing that. And I said, bro, mind you, me, I know my way up and down, side to side in Broward County. Every single city, I know how to get places with no GPS. I don't do that. I don't do that because you ain't finna think I'm an out of towner. You try to rob, nah. I shouldn't even say that, but I don't use GPS because something happened to the GPS. How you gonna get around? You gotta know where you at. You gotta know your landmarks. So I'm telling him, like, no, you gotta get out. I'm gonna get you out these GPS systems. So when I said that, we going to church that Sunday, and he driving me, and I'm in the passenger seat. We get closer to the church. I'm directing him the whole way on where to go, where to make a left, where to make a right. You know, cool. We get close to the church. He having anxiety. He like, Tyrone, like, I really don't know where I'm going. Like, I like, this is why I like to have GPS, because I like to know where I'm going. And like, am I going the right way? And I'm like, I got so frustrated. I said, and I'm going to tell my friend the name. I said, Lewis, Lewis, I'm in the front seat with you. If you was going the wrong way, I would let you know. I'm not going to sit in the front seat and watch you go the wrong way and not say nothing. Instantly, boom, it hit me. I knew deep in my spirit that I was speaking to myself, and I felt like that was God speaking through me to me. He heard in the natural. I was hearing in the spiritual realm, or in the spirit, what was going on, I believe. So I'm like, oh my gosh, dang, that's crazy. I think that's what God's telling me. I would not let you go and don't give you a warning. I would let you know if you were going the wrong way. Like, I'm directing your steps. The steps of the righteous is ordered by the Lord. So I'm like, oh my gosh. Sheesh. So next thing you know, I get to church. The pastor, one of my pastor, he preached a sermon on, basically taking that step of faith, that step of faith. I'm like, oh my gosh. And mind you, when I first came to that church, he prophesied to me. He was like, you going to be doing so much. He said, I got to see a vision for you for the church. You're going to be doing this. You could do this. You could be the leader, lead with this, and all that stuff. So after this church service, I was like, I built up the courage. I told my pastor, I was like, I'm going to be moving to Texas. Actually, your sermon encouraged me to do so. You said it yourself. He was like, do you have a job? Do you have this, And the other pastor was like, hey, one of my other pastors, he was like, he may not have the full vision, but we know in part. He was like, God, when Abraham trusted God, he was telling him. So my other pastor came and backed me up. And I was like, amen, praise God. So he was like, okay, I guess, and they prayed over me and, gave me that blessing to go ahead and to go forth and do it. So I was like, okay, cool. I got my pastor cool with it or whatever. And I get home. Then, remember I told y'all about the doubt and stuff, but that was overcame that Sunday, I guess. Next thing you know, I'm getting ready to move to Texas. I'm gonna make this a part 2. All right, so y'all, I'm gonna make this a part. This is part 1. I'm gonna do a part 2. So go ahead and watch part 2. This has been 20 something minutes. Watch part 2, please. This story gets really, really great.